3 bad and 1 good waitressing story. These are not my stories. I am just the storyteller. Story number 1. This story isn't mine, but my mother's. She told it to me after I had just become a waitress. Another waitress had spoken to my mom and asked if she could cover her table because one of the men kept touching her when she went over. My mom ended up serving drinks to that table and stood by the guy. As predicted, the guy grabbed my mom. And in shock, she dropped the drinks and said, "I'm so sorry, sir. I was so shocked when you grabbed that I lost balance." His wife started apologizing to my mom and screaming at him. Needless to say, he was very embarrassed. Story number 2. Beautiful. My mother also shared a food service story with me. My mother worked at a Denny's in her college town when she was in the first years of her degree. A customer asked her for her number, and she blew it off. Well, she brings the drinks out, and he asks her again. Blows it off a second time and walks off. Comes back to take the food order. The tables place their orders, and this guy asks for her number again. So my mother replies, "Fine, it's 4. When it pops up on that screen over there, it means your food is done, and I'm about to bring it out." His friends laughed. He turned red and stopped asking. Story number 3. I'm a female, but I've had short hair and worn men's clothes for years, as it is more comfortable for me. I'm a lesbian, and I suppose it's pretty obvious. As a server at a Cajun restaurant in the South, I waited on a group of guys. They were moderately nice the whole time. I brought them a check, and they paid it and left before I came back. On the credit card slip, they left no tip, but a phone number and a drawing and the words, "Just try it once and see how it feels." And the best for last, story number 4. Guests that make the job worth it. My shift this evening was mostly comprised of some of the worst tips and tables that I have ever gotten. But I had one table that made it all worth it. Just a pretty typical 4-top, one mom and her 3 kids. Just treated them like all my other tables. Nothing too special. One of her daughters did have the same name as me, which was cool, since it's one you don't hear often. But other than that, they didn't ask for much, and I didn't go out of my way to give them above and beyond service. I count them out, and as I'm running food to another table, one of the little girls gives me the checkbook and tells me to open it. She wrote a really sweet note on a napkin, which I'm gonna keep forever. So I thanked her and told her she made my night. I failed to notice the $100 cash tip that the mom had left me on a $30 tab. I didn't realize it until after they had left. Definitely one of the most generous tips a table has ever left me, and I am so grateful. I wish I'd had the opportunity to thank the mom. But I just wanted to share an uplifting story since most of my waitressing stories involve bad experiences. If it wasn't for them, I would have walked out with $60 on a Friday night. I hope y'all's holiday season is filled with generous people like my one table tonight. It's part of what makes this job worth it. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Tiffany Jean. Remember to like and subscribe.